Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Dananu, and I'm the man with black privilege. And with this video here, it's a couple days late, but we're going to be talking about the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, the new one that came out. And I will say this, I'm going to try to keep this short. I'm not a fan of Spider-Man Homecoming all that much, so I can like rant on about an hour about the things I don't like. So we're gonna not really talk about all of that, but I will say what I don't like involves mostly the high school stuff. Don't like none of the high school characters or any of that. So I was hoping that was just gonna be in his origin movie, but apparently that's gonna be the ensemble cast that they're going with for, I'm assuming, all of his movies. So not a big fan of that. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. However, I will say this, being somebody who wasn't a fan of Homecoming all that much, this movie is, well, I could say I'm a fan of Homecoming when it comes to him being Spider-Man. The main, I forget what the kid's name is, but the main character, I'm not a fan of him. How would I put this right? I'm fine with him being, let's say, Iron Man's pseudo son, you know, if I feel it was warranted, you know, because I know it's different from the comic books and everything, but I've been reading the comic books since like 87, 86. And Spider-Man is his own hero first. Like, there was a period in the comic books where during Civil War, actually, where Spider-Man was working with Tony Stark and things like that, but it was like a partnership almost. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I'm your dad, you're my son type vibe. It was more of like I'm the coworker who knows a little bit more than you, but you're still good enough to sit at my table. You know, and that's what I don't like about the newer Spider-Man movies. It's him working under Tony Stark, him getting the suit. Everything is already there for him. Where I think and I was hoping it was just gonna be with Homecoming, because you know, they had to set up, you know, and they had to set up his movie and fit it in the big scheme of things of the MCU. But it looks like that's just what they're going with in the sequel here too. He's still using the same suit. All of his stuff pretty much comes from Tony Stark. They're saying things like, oh, are you gonna be the next Iron Man? How? You know, that's the vibe that I don't like. That and all of the normal high school stuff that they've, you know, been going on with all the side characters and stuff, like the Flash Thompson, the kid who's not Ned Leeds, you know, MJ with no red hair that's not MJ. You know, it's like all of that. That's what I don't like. I guess you could say the Disney, or if this was WB, it would be the WB side of things. Hate that with a passion. But them bringing in Mysterio, definitely like. Love how his costume looks. It's on point. I was kind of worried that they wasn't really gonna do the whole Mysterio costume because it's kind of gaudy, but no, purple and green with lights and stuff on the front. They even got the fishbowl head. I was worried about them changing that, but I was like, if anything, they have to keep the fishbowl head, but I didn't think they was gonna do it, but apparently they did. And also, by this coming out after Endgame, I guess the story that they're going with, at least in the trailers so far, I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit different in the movie, is that Mysterio, Quentin Beck, is from another universe, or from a parallel universe, not another universe, rather. And I was kind of worried that they was going to mess things up before Endgame. I will say this, because I haven't made my video talking about it yet, so I'm not going to spoil anything in there. But before Endgame, I was like, okay, well, if they're doing Infinity Gauntlet, they can do a couple things. At the end of the day, either the MCU has to get either reset, or you have to establish a new normal, you know? And I was like, well, if you have the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, things like that, you have all these other characters that you want to roll into your movieverse, you have to be able to explain that. You can't just have mutants pop up and be like, oh, mutants have always been here, but nobody knew they were mutants. You can't do that. You have to explain it story-wise and have it make sense. And you have to do that in spades for the average moviegoer. That's just for people like myself who want things to make sense. But if you can start going into multiverses and dimensions and statistics as far as like who's from where and everything like that, the average moviegoer is going to be lost. Hell, I think even coming out of Endgame, a lot of people were confused with the time travel. And they explained that like twice, maybe 3 times in that movie. You know, as soon as I first heard it explained, I was like, okay, they're doing what they're doing in comic books, branch universe theory. You know, you can't alter the future, but you can create, you know, different timelines, different timelines. And I guess to the average person, that was incredibly confusing because there's people making tons of videos explaining the time travel and things like that. So you start jumping into the multiverse side of things, I mean, that's going to really start to confuse people. So what I'm getting from this trailer, and this is just my comic book side talking, is that Quentin Beck is a villain. His whole thing is misdirection. You know, illusions, perceiving things that's not there, you know, aka misdirection. I think he's saying that, oh, I'm from another multiverse, you know, I'm here to stop something or other. But in reality, he could be lying his ass off. Maybe he wants the world to perceive himself to be a hero for some reason. Maybe he was a shitty person. Maybe he was a supervillain, and then after the snap, he was like, look, maybe I can get more from people if I pretend to be a hero. So maybe that's the vibe, you know, because he's the villain of the movie, or at least I assume. So I don't want to believe that multiverse line just yet. I know the multiverse is out there because they pre-established that in Doctor Strange and things like that, so it's there for them to use. But him coming over and everything, I don't want to believe that until I definitively see that in, you know, Far From Home, because that may not be the case. He may be lying his ass off and just to, you know, make himself, or make him, how would I explain it? He may be lying his ass off to make himself seem like he's the one thing that they need, you know. Maybe he's there trying to steal something, maybe he's there trying to do something in particular, but maybe he needs their resources to do something, and that's why he's trying to fill that void. I think this is going to be one of those movies where it's they're going, you know, like they do this in movies all the time, where it's like you have you take a European vacation trip. I think it's going to be half of that, and the other half of the movie is going to be about Spider-Man dealing with the Tony Stark situation and him bumping elbows with Mysterio, like, look, I'm gonna, you know, since Tony is dealing with his stuff, I'm gonna bump up next to this guy and he's gonna be my mentor for this movie. And then I think it's gonna be one of those things where he gets really close to him as a friend, and he's gonna be like, look, he's giving me all this really good advice, but then at the end of the movie, he's gonna betray him to do something, and Spider-Man has to stop him. And then, you know, deal with whatever they deal with in the movie. I'm not sure what these elementals are, but I'm assuming there's something that either Mysterio is controlling, or, you know, something he could be letting loose on the world and pretending to go stop, you know, to make himself seem useful. Or maybe they're trying to stop him from getting something. Marvel Comic Books has a lot of artifacts when it comes to a lot of different characters and things like that. The elementals could be protecting something that Quentin Beck is trying to steal, you know, and trying to stop him from getting maybe some kind of magical artifact that will allow him to make his illusions real, or, you know, maybe, let's say, to give him Doctor Strange like magic, you know, and, you know, he wants to get that so he can use it for his own ends, whatever that may be, and maybe they're trying to stop him from doing that by any means necessary. And he's pretending to work with S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to stop the elementals, and then once they stop him, he's gonna have his supervillain speech saying, haha, now I finally have what I have, and then that's when they gotta take him down, you know. That's how I think the movie's gonna play out. It's not super hard, but, you know, to figure out, but I'm just interested. It piqued my interest when you have all of the multiverse stuff. They're bringing Nick Fury into this. That's incredibly cool. So you get the remnants of him, Maria Hill, doing all of that. I think Happy's in here a little bit more too, Jon Favreau. So it's pretty cool. You know, I'm more interested. with that side of things than the high school stuff. I think they have something really good on their hands. I don't know how it's gonna feel long term though, because coming out of Endgame, it's like, what, let's say a few months or right after Endgame. Why are they still going back to school? Why are they, going on school vacation trips after just coming back? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I was hoping that Marvel in Endgame was gonna wipe away or reset things before Thanos came, because you can't have half of the world be missing for like 5 years and then bring the other half back and then just life go on, everything's hunky-dory. Like, no, that's not you can't do that. Like in the clips of the Far From Home trailer, you had people going to work, running around, doing jobs and stuff like that, and I guess people will be doing that, but it's it would take the world some time to readjust. You can't just be like, oh, guess what, I'm back, let's go right back to fucking school. Like, no, there'd be no teachers, there'd be no jobs, even if you did want to send them back, it wouldn't work. There's no infrastructure anymore. There's no infrastructure, there's no government, there's no, hell, just dealing with simple problems like, oh, let's clear away all the trees that grew and take over shit in 5 years. I mean, it's a lot you have to do. People wouldn't just go back and be like, oh, 5 years never happened. It's something that's bugging me, and I'm hoping they explain it in Far From Home, or if not that, then the next movie, because it's like I'm seeing in these trailers, and it's like they're pretending like it didn't happen. And if that's the story that they're going with, it's like there has to be some long-term repercussions for Thanos making that snap and taking out half the world. They have to explain that some kind of way, and perhaps they do. Maybe they might do that in the first 20 minutes or half hour of Far From Home. I don't know. But it's like, that's the one thing that's bugging me out of this, besides all the high school stuff. Everything else I'm cool with. But anyways, guys, that's just been my thoughts on Spider-Man Far From Home. I think this is the first official trailer that they had, because I think what we had before was a teaser. But I'm interested in it. It's probably gonna make, Marvel's on a run now, so probably gonna make over $1 billion. I mean, it's fucking Spider-Man. It is what it is. But outside of that, my next video, I'm probably gonna be talking about Endgame in spoiler territory and all of that. So I know I'm late with that, and everybody else is doing it, but I got to give my thoughts on it as well. So if you guys want to see that, be on the lookout in a couple days. I'm gonna probably drop that, and that's gonna probably be a long video, a really long video, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. But all right, fellas, my name is the Nanu, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Peace out.